Welcome back to the Fun with Guns channel, and today we have an installation video. This is a Glock Gen 4 19, and this installation video also goes for the Gen 3 Glocks. As far as I know, for the 9mm, this is an upgrade. I was having some kind of erratic extractions and ejections, and they were coming back and hitting me in the head, and kind of just limply falling out of there, not really ejecting out of there. So this is a $12 fix, and what it is a Gen 5 ejector. This is the Gen 5 47021 ejector, and you're going to want to swap this out with your Gen 4 or Gen 3. This is where I got it, but I will include a link to my Facebook. I can't post them on YouTube, so you can go over there and pick one of these guys up. And you're not going to use the entire housing. The only part you're actually using is the actual ejector. So let's go ahead and start the process. What you're going to need to start out is a block to punch your roll pins through, some sort of a punch, a small flathead screwdriver, as well as a regular screwdriver. Now pretty much these flatheads are just to get behind the ejector and push it out, and I'll show you when we get to that point. You may need some needle nose. I would avoid it, but just have them on hand. They can kind of help you get this guy out, but you got to be careful if you do that when you're trying to get the actual ejector out after pushing it. So let's go ahead and start the process. So to start out, we want to make sure we're safe, and we have an empty pistol. And we'll go ahead and safely point it in a safe direction, pull the trigger, break the pistol down and take the slide off. We'll go ahead, and we don't need anything with the slide, so we'll go ahead and just set that off to the side over there. Okay, so to start out, we're gonna go ahead and punch this top pin out of here. And most of these, they may be tight if it's your first time, but they should come out very easily. So you don't want to force these or bang on them. Next, we'll go ahead and take this guy out. You want to wiggle your slide lock, slide release button. As you push this guy, it'll help it. And that guy, if you don't move that around, it may be really tight, and you might cause some damage to your trigger and stuff. So just be careful and take your time with this. At this point, we can probably take these two guys out, but we'll go ahead and punch this last one out as well. Okay, so we got all that done. And you can use something to kind of help wedge and get up under there on this guy if you need to. Just don't force anything, guys. It'll come out easy. Just take your time. All right, so now that we got that out, this whole trigger pack and everything will come out. We could go ahead and take our slide release, set that to the side, and this guy will easily just come in and out of there. So we got that out. And so what your main focus is you're wanting to get this guy out of the housing. You know, you have your trigger and everything connected, and you can disconnect this guy if you want, but honestly, you can just work with it with that guy still on there. So don't be intimidated by this, guys. I am not a gunsmith, but this is very easy to do. So if you look at the trigger housing, how this guy's lined up, this pops out, but there's actually a piece, the rest of the ejector is running through this housing, and that guy is coming out the back right there. You can see the back of it. So that's what you're going to push in, and you're just going to push this in and out. And we'll do the same on the Gen 5 that came in the mail for you or wherever you got it. We'll push that out and just replace the actual ejectors, not the housing or anything else. So let's go ahead and start pushing. And I apologize, it's on camera. This is pretty difficult to do on camera, but just like I said, take your time. So we got that pushed in. And of course, this is too big to keep going. So that's why I recommend having a little small one, a small flathead that can actually get inside of here. Okay, so we'll push that. And as you can tell, it's pushing that ejector right on out of there. All right, so this is our old. We'll set this to the side. This is part number 30274. I already started to push this guy out. Actually, this was already in the gun, so I had to, pretty much reinstall the original and all that. So let's go ahead and get this guy out. I guess a little life hack is I'm using the old one on the right to take out the new one on the left, and just pushing it from the opposite end to get that guy started out of there, because it was pretty tight. Okay, so we got that guy started. All right. That guy was in there pretty tight. Part 47021, which is replacing part 30274. And you can tell on this guy, they are different. They definitely are different. The Gen 5 is a lot beefier. So at this point, guys, we're just going to slide it in there and guide it in there. And it's going to go straight in and line up flush, okay? And you want to line it up so it is flush. So as you can tell, it does kind of have a gap right there. So what I'm going to do is actually gently push the end of the ejector so that it is completely flush, probably down on a flat surface like a table edge. Okay, and what I did is I actually used these rubber handles, put it on the edge of the table, and just push down ever so much, not too much pressure, and it slipped right into place. Like I mentioned earlier, you do not want to bend this up or bang it up. So just make sure you're taking your time, guys, and this is not intimidating at all. This is very easy to do. Anybody could do it. Just take your time. If you get lost, rewind it, or if you have any questions and you get stuck, shout out to me in the comment section. I'll get you set up. We'll make sure you get through it. Now that we have the Gen 5 ejector in our trigger kit, let's go ahead and slip this guy back in here. Just take your time. It'll dip right in there. Take your lock and block, slide this guy back right in there. It'll go right back in. From here, we just need to install our slide lock and the 3 pins. So just so you know, the short skinny pin is going to go here on the frame. The long skinny pin is going to be for your locking block, and the fat pin is going to be for your trigger. So let's go ahead and start out with the long skinny pin. We're going to put that in for the locking block. And a good trick to remember with this guy is to make sure you put this in before you put in the slide lock, because this is actually going to go untuck underneath. The top of this spring is going to go right underneath there. You don't want it the opposite, so make sure you put that pin in first. And that's the main thing to remember when you do this. There's a little slot there in between the trigger and the frame. Put that guy in there. For this guy, you will want to wiggle that again to make sure you're getting in there. And actually this guy, it does really like to go from the opposite side. So see how it just kind of popped in there? We got those in. Got your last pin back here for your trigger housing kit. All right. And go ahead and just line them up with the punch. Oh, of course, I went over a little. Okay. Just line these guys up with your punch. There we go. You'll kind of feel them when they click in there. Okay. So now that it's put back together with the Gen 5 ejector in there, let's go ahead and slide this guy on here. Do a quick test. Hope this video helped you out. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you have any questions, chime down below. Also, you can follow us over at BitChute. We're on Gunstreamer and Facebook, along with YouTube, depending on where you're watching this. If you liked the video, definitely hit like, subscribe, and share. If you didn't like it, make sure you hit the dislike twice. And check out the Facebook page for gun news and great deals.